Meeting to order at 8:01 per the mayor's request, because he's a trained professional. We're going to do a roll call. Ken Koski, present. Josh Hendrickson.
Here.
Victoria Ratliff, absent. Chrissy Robertson.
Here.
Dave Windish.
Here.
Vicki Noblet.
Here.
Danny Causey, absent. Christy Locke.
Here.
Krista Foley, absent. All right, we have a quorum. You've had a chance to review the minutes from February 13th, which was our last meeting. Are there any questions about those? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion and a
Second.
second by Josh. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Committee reports, community art. Dana, do you want to provide an update? Obviously, the thing I can report out on is that we did complete the Art Craft Alley, hanging nearly 200 kites. Super excited about that. So they have the horizontal interest like the stars did, but they also have the kite tails that hang down to provide that vertical interest. And assuming the black lights are now working, they'll have a night interest as well.
They
So,
look great at night.
oh, you've seen it at night?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good.
Yes.
Somebody stays up later than
glowing,
Ken and I.
Looks great. It really does.
Okay, cool. All right, well, that's good. Anything else?
Yeah, I'm just going to let you guys know that Tuesday I had a Zoom call with Indiana Arts Commission about the Creative Convergence, which was where this was the grant program that funding came from, and they told us that we were the first ones in the state to get our project done. So, yeah, so we get a gold star for that, and they're actually, they were asking me to send some photos and things. They did a short article about it on their LinkedIn page. They're going to do a larger article, and I think they're really going to be using the work that Franklin has been doing to really promote the fact that small communities can do some really cool things in the area of art, really unique things, and leveraging funding is the key, and that's what we've always done. We've always managed to find our grants and, you know, to leverage what city dollars that we have and really be able to do some super amazing, cool things. And I also wanted just to let you know that I finally got the email from Spotlight Strategies yesterday, and the brackets for the rest of the banners have finally arrived. They should be delivered to Jason at the street department later at the end of this week, first part of next week, but that's why the two new areas banners have not been up yet. We've been waiting on these brackets that seem to never want to come in when they're supposed to, but they are here, they will be up. I'm really excited because they will definitely be up before Ethos, which is really a really important, cool thing, so.
Great, and do we have a date scheduled for the intersection art yet, or?
Do not have a date scheduled. This weather has been obviously playing havoc on any kind of outdoor work, so he's still looking at end of July, first part of August. But he hasn't got a specific date yet.
Okay, thank you.
You said?
End of July, first part of August, yeah. So we're gonna have to work around a couple, there's like hops and vines and a concert, and so we're gonna have to work around some time in there if we get into August.
All right, we'll turn to Josh for an update on programming, and I'm curious about how Ethos is coming along, but you can give your full report.
Well, you set me up to now sound silly. So our last meeting was held, but was not successful. And we met to jury the latest submissions. Unfortunately, Danny surprisingly not available, and we could not access that. So not much has been done as far as Ethos since the last meeting. I know we have more submissions. I know they're waiting on us to jury those.
I will, excuse me for interrupting, just to let you know, Danny and I did look at some of those yesterday. The ones that were folks that we knew, that we know would be in, we've gone ahead and approved those. We do still have another list, so here in a couple weeks, we'll need to get back together. Jennifer Denny has been hired by DDF. Jennifer runs Elevate Marketing, and she does a fantastic job on marketing. She is going to be doing a really strong push to regional artists and in the whole East Coast especially, kind of the ones that are closest enough to come here. She's going to do a really strong marketing push for those in the next like 2 to 3 weeks. Starting to push that out, so hopefully we'll get more, but I think we're at about 53 We have several that we need to have the whole committee look at and kind of make a decision on. They're kind of on the cusp of some things. And he said he is continuing to get a few every day. It's the typical slows down at this time until right before the deadline, and then it's a big push. I will say none of our local artists have signed up yet, so we need to kind of give them a push as well. But yeah, it's continuing to work, so.
Yeah, I was just going to say as well, Dana kind of spoke on it already, that a lot of the banners are back up. I hadn't even noticed that King Street wasn't up yet, so that's fine. But no, we will have a meeting soon to discuss some more ethos stuff, but right now, not a lot to report since last time.
All right, thanks, Josh. And Julie, for the record, Nick has arrived at 8:03. All right, you're already on that. We have no old business, so we can move on to new business, and we're pleased to have Taylor McHenry here from the Mayor's Youth Leadership Council to do a presentation on the Generation Art. And we have another person, if you'll be speaking, just go ahead and go up there and say your name.
Sorry, I printed out the paper of like what I wanted to say, and then I forgot it, so. I've got to log in real quick.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay, so, yeah, I'm Taylor McHenry, and,
I'm Ben Moreland.
so we're here to talk about a project that the Franklin Mayor's Youth Leadership Council has been talking about since January, kind of, a little bit before that. So basically, like a little background is, the council always runs a bake sale at like the Christmas lighting, and I was talking to my friend Ben and Addie Holman, and I was like, it'd be so cool to paint a mural, like it's something I've always wanted to do. And then the mayor was behind me, and he was like, I can help you with that. And so there's a generator that was just installed outside of City Hall that he was like, we'd be interested in decorating and giving a little bit of personality to, if you'd be interested in doing that. And so I've been working with Dana and Chrissy to help get that kind of started. And so I also wanted to say thank you, like right off the bat, for you guys' help and for getting us here. So, yeah, I think that's kind of it. You walked past it when you came in. And so this is the kind of design that we've created for it. We kind of wanted it to be like a patchwork kind of looking, like kind of like a quilt. That kind of highlighted just some things about Franklin. So I asked everybody in the committee, like when you think of Franklin, what do you think of? And so that was, and so people gave us like, they were like a football or fireworks or something like that. So that's what like patchwork is. And then the side panel that you guys just saw was also like, there's this tiny side, so there's like a really big side of it, and then there's a smaller side. And on the smaller side, we're gonna make it look kind of like a postage stamp that has like a grizzly bear on it, to kind of highlight the high school and its kind of part in this whole painting of it. And so yeah, and then, do you want to talk about the painting a little bit? Yeah.
Okay, so I'll be talking about budget, so I get the fun part. So the budget that we've set aside is $1,000, and we were thinking about 700 of that would go towards the paint, and because we were thinking paint costs about $125 per gallon, so I think we were going to buy like 6 of those-ish, somewhere in that ballpark. Then we would set aside another $100 for like other supplies like tape and brushes. At most like $100, and then with the goal of setting or having $200 of wiggle room within that in case like paint costs more, we need something else or something else comes along the road. So that's kind of what we're thinking about for budget. And then I think
Yeah, and then we're hoping to get this started and probably finished by like the beginning of summer. I think because most of us are pretty busy, so I think school is out like in late May, so I'm hoping to get started maybe late May or early June. We haven't really talked about that or anything, but that's kind of our hope. And then to get it done as quickly as possible while also making sure that it looks pretty. So, yeah. Are there any questions?
Yeah, Taylor, obviously, we would need someone with skill to carry this out. Are you an art student or?
I am, like, I'm not like I'm a high school student, so I'm not like majoring in art or anything, but yeah, I'm someone that's very interested in art. I've actually won the Franklin College Art Show this fall, and then I also won a Brown County Art Show award, so yeah, I love art very much, and I think I'll probably be one of the main people executing this whole project, but I will have the help of some of the others that are pretty creative in the council.
Is there any sort of stipend in the budget for the artist?
Oh, I don't know. That wasn't, I don't mind there not being one, but that's a
This
good
was their
point.
design, so.
Do we not typically compensate an artist
We
who
do.
would paint
You're
who would paint
you
an
are-
electrical box?
You are 100% correct.
Okay, I don't know how that would happen, but it would be nice if we could continue that.
I agree. We actually came a little under budget for what this body was going to contribute to the Art Craft Alley, so maybe we could divert a little bit of money to compensate this crew for their work.
Can I add to that? If you do that, I would rather you add it to the Mayor's Youth Council's fund that they have to do projects for the following year or next year or whatever. But to pay the students, I don't think we should do that.
Oh.
This is a volunteer group, and we do a lot of volunteer projects in the community. But if we wanted to give money to the Mayor's Youth Council, that's welcome. So, thank you for that.
Or at the very minimum, maybe have like a pizza party as part of this. I mean, I help people move for pizza, so maybe that would be like a nice compromise or something to feed these folks while they're working.
For sure. Thank you.
And I had a question for Chrissy. So you've helped lead this. What are your thoughts on the design?
Yeah, I think it's good. They went with a really fun, like duotone design. So kind of like different than the traditional stuff that we see.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've also offered to help them with the painting day, just to kind of go back to it.
We'll give you no money for that.
What's your favorite pizza
understand.
topping?
What'd you say, Josh?
I asked what your favorite pizza topping was.
Mushrooms.
All right. Any other questions?
We do need, just so that others understand, there are some things on this that cannot be painted, and that's kind of why you see the Cummins power generation and some of the other things. The venting cannot be, so, I mean, there's different things like that. The other piece to keep in mind is that there are those yellow bollards that are up now to protect it, so it will kind of impact this just a little bit in the looks. But those are safety things that are totally
Yeah.
beyond everybody's.
Yeah, there's a little yellow in there that'll not completely clash with those
Right,
yellow protective pillars.
right,
Now,
yeah.
the boxes that were painted on Main Street, also by the council, right? Is that correct? Those have shown some wear, more so than the ones that Luann has painted. Is there a way to maybe at least speak with her and see what sort of paints she used? There seemed to be
Durable.
yeah, longevity with those. I'm not sure what paints you guys looked at, what paints were used on those prior boxes. I just know, in my opinion, if we do a project like this, we want it to last as long as possible. So I'd like to make sure that we're using the materials that will last. I don't have the answer to what those are, but.
Yeah, I think Dana has written that down. So in addition to like the brand, it's also whether you go with like a flat satin or gloss finish, because the more you go up, the more durable it is as well. So if we could,
And I think Luann also puts some coatings, and I'm not sure what kind and things like that. You artists will
There's a
have
coating
more.
that we've used on our murals before that holds the colors a little longer and makes it easier to clean should someone deface it in the future.
Yeah,
If it's between pizza and coating, I would vote for coating, but
Coating's not cheap. I mean, I think
Yeah.
it's like $130 a gallon.
is it?
Another thing is I can't picture where this is. I know it's here, but I parked here and walked here and
It's on
it's on
this
the other side of where I
it's-
parked. See, I didn't walk past it, so I will when I leave today. How big is it? And you've got your quote here probably for all gallons, is that correct?
Yeah.
Some of your smaller colors, you might just need to get a cord on, and you can save some money on that because it does go a lot longer, a lot further than you think.
For sure. Yeah, I figured that like we'd get the good couple gallons of the blues, and then yeah, the yellow doesn't need to be a full gallon.
Right.
But yeah, it also just kind of depends on what's cheaper. If it's cheaper to get a gallon, then maybe we'll do that and hope that we can find another use for the paint somewhere. But we'll probably just go for the quart of that. But the size of it, I think I remember it being like 140 inches by 51. So it's
Okay.
like 51 tall, 140
Okay.
long.
Thank
And then the smaller side, I don't know if I have the dimensions for that one, but it's just a little bit smaller.
It's about the size of Julie's desk, but maybe a little wider.
Okay,
So, for those of you that are more visual,
thank you.
all right.
Field trip, Dave.
I will, actually, when I'm done. I'll walk that way and then over there.
All right, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve this design.
Move to approve.
We have a motion
I'll second.
and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, congratulations. Looking forward to seeing
Thank you
this.
so much.
Thanks, you guys.
All right, next under new business is the Farmers Market Art Day.
Yes, so we have always, since this commission has been in place, we've had an art day at the farmer's market this year. The DDF has offered us June 7th, which is kind of quick, but at the same time, it's before Ethos, and we had talked in the past about trying to do something before Ethos. The other two dates weren't going to work as well. Thanks, you guys. Thanks. So we need to meet the programming committee has usually kind of come up with an idea of what to do. So we will be having our meeting to talk about that. But I also wanted to kind of open it up to the full board because I need 2 people that can be there on June 7th from 7 to 10, and then 2 people that can be there from 10 to 12:30 to help set up and then help run and do whatever we do. So if you guys could check your calendars and let me know, that would be greatly appreciated. And also, like I said, do you guys have some thoughts or ideas? We've done the small canvas paintings with the kids. Last year, we did the rocks, which about half the rocks are still there. I think it's been really interesting that people have been taking the rocks and taking them home, which is actually kind of cool. I may have one that Christy painted up on my desk, just saying. But Christy's sunflower, so I may have swiped that one. Anyway, we have some different ideas. If you guys have some suggestions, thoughts, ideas, I'm pretty open. We have a little bit of budget to get some materials for this. We still have some of the paint pens and things from the last time. They're still good. They're up in my office as well. We still have rocks. We have one bag of rocks left. We went through, I'm wanting to say it was like about 160 rocks.
It was a lot.
It was a ton of rocks. Kids really, and adults. We had a lot of adults that did those as well. Christy and Dave both were there, and I think it went super, super well last year.
I'll be in Chicago on
Will you?
the 7th, yes.
Okay. So, yeah, so if you guys will be thinking about it, we'll have our programming committee meeting next week, and we'll talk, trying to firm this up, but would like to ask the whole board if you guys can check your calendars, if anybody can volunteer those days, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it.
All right, next is item C, the Creative Economy Survey.
So, just to kind of catch you guys up a little bit on some really cool things that are going on regionally, the Central Indiana Regional Development Authority, or CERTA, is our kind of regional group that works on things like the Ready Grant that you guys have heard about and different programs. It's a group of communities that have come together, and they're really looking regionally, what can we do as a group to work together to kind of bring brainstorming issues, brainstorming ideas of what can we do to make our region better. And out of this, Mayor Barnett sits on that board as well, but out of this came the idea of doing some things for art. If you guys will recall, we talked last year, the Lilly Foundation had given, I forget now how much it was, but it was a very significant number. I'm wanting to say it's, I don't want to say because I cannot remember. But they'd given a significant amount of money for a really large piece of, or several large pieces of significant art. So as part of that grant, one of the things that they're doing is they have formed this subcommittee for the creative economy is what they have dubbed it. And it really does make sense because they're really wanting to bring awareness to how much art really does bring to our economy. Art is an economic development driver. artists are doing well in our communities. People just don't know about them. People just don't know the artists that we have, and they don't always know the work that these artists are doing. And especially with like our students, Taylor was just here. She has a love for art. She has an interest in that. They're not being encouraged to say, hey, you can be an artist in Central Indiana and do well. They're not given that message. So how can we kind of change that narrative? How can we help people understand that the arts are extremely important to our communities? The quality of life, the sense of place, the sense of belonging that art brings to our communities. That's one of the reasons that I think the IAC is wanting to kind of highlight some of the work we've done here in Franklin, because that shows that so well. When you have a Friday night like we had last Friday, and we had all of these families walking up and downtown, and they're getting flowers, and they're doing all the cool things, and it's so pretty, and they're talking about the banners, and they're talking about, you know, the beauty that we have here. So anyway, so they're starting this group. The mayor has asked me to be on that subcommittee, and they actually had a meeting here last month. And this subcommittee came to Franklin, got to see some of the work that we did. Chrissy came and spoke, and I really want to thank you, Chrissy, for doing that, because it was really a great representation of what's going on here in Franklin. Talked about the value of having a place like the Alva-Neal, where we have a small conclave of artists that can come together and work and feed off of each other and their energy together and all of that kind of stuff. So as part of building this creative economy, it's kind of two sides. They're wanting to really get a formal network. We have formal networks that focus on economic development. We have formal networks that focus on community development. They want to develop a formal network that works on the creative economy, developing that. So one side is working on how do we kind of get that logistically going, how do we market, how do we leverage the value that we have in this. And the other piece of this is going to be several large projects. And I promise you, Christy can swear to this, I put in a plug for the water tower because I am not letting that go. I actually reached out to, when last month, Krista and Christie's, I'm getting them all mixed up today. But we actually went to Philadelphia last month for a National Main Street Conference, and I met RC and got to speak with him, and I have sent him the water tower and the dimensions and some ideas, and so struck up a conversation with him, and he is much more hopeful on a budget than I am, but it wasn't nearly as terrifying as I thought that it would be. He's not even going to be as much as they wanted, the Indian American people want to have the water tower fixed to get it ready. I mean, it was insane. So I am not letting this go. We are continuing to work on that. I think he would be really, really cool. I loved this stuff that he showed me. But anyway, so we've kind of got this two-sided piece. So the first thing that they're doing that is really important, they've sent out this creative economy survey. I sent it to you guys. I heard back from the group that is running this, kind of heading this up, the consultants that are kind of helping to get this started. They have asked us if we can really send it out. They've only gotten back about 100 surveys, and for a central Indiana area, that's kind of sad. So really need to push that out. So I'm going to be sending that out to you guys again today, and really want to ask if you can send that to anybody and everybody that you know that touches art in any way, touches the creative economy in any way. We have business owners, just like, you know, Josh owns a business that is directly related to the creative economy. So we need to hear from folks like Josh. We need to hear from the artists. We need to hear from all types of artists. We need our graphic designers. We need our art. We need our potters. We need all of our artists. We need our dancers, all of those. So anybody that you know of, to send that out. We really would love to have a strong support. This is also helping them to see where the art is supporting, and it's kind of, if we can show that we have that interest, I think we can really get some cool things going here. So I was just going to ask if you guys could please share that. That'd be great.
Yeah, definitely. All right, our next meeting is June 12th. We also have the community art meeting immediately following this meeting, and the programming committee will meet May 15th at 8 a.m. here in City Hall.
Yep.
So is there anything else before I entertain a motion for adjournment? All right, hearing none, would anybody like to adjourn the meeting?
I will adjourn the meeting.
Do we have a second?